Hey, how's it going? My name is JackieFish and welcome back to another multiplayer head-to-head battle from the multiplayer campaign that me and Apollo do every Tuesday and Thursday over on YouTube. So be sure to tune in if you are looking forward to seeing more about this series and seeing how this campaign develops. Also, if you want to go ahead and catch up, the entire playlist of this series is on my channel. It's at the top of the channel. And yeah, I definitely recommend it as this series has been so eventful. So to catch you guys up on what's basically been happening since the last time you would have saw this, or maybe if you've missed the past couple of live streams, we have basically managed to repel Apollo once again from our island. I think this is his like third invasion, and now he has suddenly come to the realization, the fact that I've steadied the ship, basically he cannot brute force his way through my my campaign anymore, through my provinces, because I've upgraded them. I've got a semi-decent army. My generals are pretty decent because I've managed to keep them alive. So he's come to a realization that he just can't beat me on my island. He can still blockade me, which is kind of, you know, causing me some issues. I can't get off of my island and I can't trade. However, you know, I still can, you know, basically prepare myself to improve my cities I have on my current island. So it's not the worst thing in the world for now. So yeah, he decided that he wanted to attack the major faction on his island, which are pretty big. I think they're bigger than him, and they have basically everything north of the island. So they have about 60%, and Apollo has about 40%, I would say, of his island. So he's decided to fight them, which is great for me because it's allowed me to basically go ahead and declare war on the rest of my island and try and take more territory, whilst Apollo is always busy, because I couldn't do that before because I always had to worry about Apollo, you know, just re-invading whilst I'm fighting another AI faction. So it's good for me and it's good for Apollo if he can successfully beat them, because they are a pretty big faction, whereas the faction I'm going to be fighting are a little bit smaller than me. So, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see how the entire, you know, campaign does develop. As well as that, you know, this faction does have some pretty decent armies that he's going to have to contend with. But again, if he can defeat them, he's going to be so rich because he's going to get all of their land, all of their upgraded buildings, and yeah, he's going to be in a really strong position. So we're playing one of the battles where he managed to take this castle away from this AI faction. I can't remember what they're called. They're called the Akazuki. And yeah, he managed to take this province away from them. And they've gone ahead and basically counter-attacked. I did just recently win a pretty big battle as well outside of the settlement, killing another one of his armies, which was really, really beneficial to my my cause. And now we are moving over. And I just thought this map was really, really cool, so I wanted to go ahead and bring this replay to you guys. I mean, the balance power is pretty in my favor. I have a very good chance of winning this, but you guys have seen how brutal these siege battles are, and they can be very, very deadly. You know, anything can happen in these siege battles. So I managed to go ahead and basically convince Apollo I was going to attack from this side, because it was such a short kind of way to attack that obviously it would have been probably the smarter idea to attack here, because it's the quickest way to the city center. But what I felt like I would do is I would just try and basically take these positions and use it as trench warfare, if that makes sense. You know, I would advance forward bit by bit, and I would just try and use this, because I have a lot of missiles and I wanted to use them missiles to the best of my ability. As you can see, it is brutal fighting right now already as the archer fire comes in and the militia clashes. So in my army, I mainly have, you know, a big portion of my army is these militia, you know, just, you know, the Naginata infantry. But I do have a decent line back here of kind of my, like, elite contingent, where I have Naginata Samurai. These guys do, like, probably one of the strongest units in the game at attacking. I have some more of them bad boys. I have some veteran Katana Ashigaru, which are nice. And I also have some more veteran Katana Ashigaru. So, like, this kind of section of these 5 units are really good. I also have 4 generals as well. I don't know why the AI loves to put all their generals in their army, but they do. I also have this unit of guns as well. I'm going to be trying to get into the fight. But basically, my main goal is just to try and break through Apollo's line. Try and push these archers back so I can put my own bowmen on these defenses, and again just slowly advance forward. However, obviously because I'm attacking, I'm going to be taking a ton of damage as we continue to push forward. But I have now finally managed to get my infantry up here as the rest of my guys do charge forward. I mean, it looks so cool, man. Look at that. I love the way there's bridges. I've got my infantry on one side, Apollo's got his infantry on the other side. It just is really, really cool stuff as more and more infantry just pours through. So my basic goals are just to try and break these defenses as quickly as possible. I've also deployed some of my cavalry over here. I have a unit of bow cavalry, which actually did do decently in this battle, and I have a unit of these katana retainers as well. And my goal is basically to bring these guys up and dismount them and try and climb around the wall around the back to block off his retreat if I can. But right now I'm just throwing in my infantry here. And one of the really, really important things in Shogun 2 when you're attacking a castle or a settlement like this is to force these bowmen away from these positions. So that's why you want to be going ahead and doing exactly what I'm doing right now, is, you know, advancing this infantry, because now Apollo's bowmen have to retreat from this position or get engaged upon. So not only are they taking damage from my bowmen, which are, you know, set up in their trench formation right here, you know, they're hitting pretty nice shots. It's forcing his entire archer line back, which is going to make this fight right here much, much easier. You can see I'm also deciding to bring my cavalry forward. I was thinking about maybe trying to block these guys off, but instead I think I just decided to just get a little bit of harassment off with these katana bowmen right here. So just with that small advancement right there, I've basically secured this entire section. So it's just such a key way, and obviously Apollo doesn't really have the infantry to try and stop me. You know, he's having to retreat back just because he's got, you know, Yari militia. He does have some decent units, so he does have some, where are they? Yeah, he has a katana garrison, and he has these warrior monks as well, which, you know, will do so much damage. He has another unit of warrior monks there, some katana Ashigaru garrison, which are pretty decent, and I believe he has a very, very good unit somewhere. That's garrison units as well. There's some Yari. Maybe he doesn't have as much as I thought he did in this battle. I mean, he has a lot of bowmen, right? I could have sworn he had like just one really good unit of infantry. But maybe it's the katanas I'm thinking of. But, you know, this is still one of Apollo's armies. You've got to keep that in mind. And I don't think he has a general here. No, I don't think he has a general here. He's also really struggling with good generals because, you know, he's winning battles, but he's also losing crucial members of his army. In the battle we did previously, it was like a big ambush battle where he managed to beat me, but like it was very, very close. And I didn't have really very good units, but I definitely did a ton of damage to his forces, which, you know, really spoke volumes to the kind of capability of these forces. Oh, that's a brutal killing move right there, as Apollo's infantry holds firm in this settlement. I don't think my bowmen have anything to shoot at right now. Yeah, I think my bowmen are basically pretty chill. And as you can see, I've managed to envelop this defense, which is, again, one of the strategies. And Apollo can just has to basically sit back and look. And that's why I think one of the reasons why attacking from this point of view was pretty decent. You know, even though this is a bigger open area and maybe could have been a bit more, a bit better, I think just being able to like come around the sides a bit more effectively and attack it, I don't know, I felt like this was just a good position to attack from. And obviously this was the obvious route of attack as well, so zoom in on these last couple guys fighting. So yeah, there's going to be lots of interesting stuff happening in the head-to-head now that we've kind of taken a break. Me and Apollo are still at war, and he obviously can invade me at any time, but we're both attacking and trying to clean up our island. Once I finally, if I can take the rest of my island, I'm going to be focusing on a navy then and trying to, you know, open up a port for myself so I can either trade and transport, because without any way, I can't get off my island if I don't get a port, because there's no land bridge like there is in normal Shogun 2. As this is a modded map, there is no way off of my island. So I need to be, you know, I need to secure myself a route. So I could, if I can win the open seas, maybe go ahead and go into Kaito and start Realm Divide and stuff. Even though I don't think Realm Divide is in this mod, which is the Master of Strategy, if you are wondering what mod we are using. So yeah, but there's also a bunch of citadels as well. I think Apollo has a pre-scripted citadel, and I have one as well. So it'll be very, very cool to try and see what they are made of and what them settlements are, because as you can see, the custom maps are really, really cool in this mod for sure. So yeah, now we're just going to be advancing forward. I want to get as much infantry as I can into this layer, but just out of range. I assume Apollo's range is like around here on these bowmen, if you compare it to mine, because my bowmen are like up to here, so I imagine his are as well. Now this is going to be pretty, you know, costly, because he now does have his warrior monks somewhere. Where are they? Does he put them into the fight? No, the warrior monks are back here, yeah. And these guys are going to do a lot of damage, I imagine, as well. I don't know if we can see their stats. I guess we can't. Unfortunately, that's pause, that's map, but yeah, I don't know how to get up their stats and replays. But yeah, these warrior monks, I imagine, have a ton of extra range. Wow, these are warrior monk garrisons as well. Jesus. So he really didn't have much in this province. I mean, he had a bunch of militia and a few, you know, basically a lot of militia and bowmen. Maybe this is what survived. Because obviously I can't see what Apollo's doing, but maybe this is what survived from the ambush battle we fought previously. Yeah, maybe so. As you can see as well, my army is absolutely exhausted after this fighting. All this militia are not going to be faring too well. But basically all I need to do is just, you know, engage this front position and just charge forward with the town guard, with the veteran Ashigaru, and also get these Naginata samurai involved in the battle, because they will just do tons of damage. And, you know, even though these battles are very, very against the attackers, I think in this one I really did have a strong advantage. And you really, you know, because the fact is when you get up onto these positions, you start pushing back the archers, and that's like a downward spiral. You know, in a settlement like this, you honestly need maybe some infantry kind of scattered out in the outer layer just to defend these positions so that your archers can shoot longer. And here we go. I'm going to be advancing forward my archers first. Maybe it would have been a better idea to actually advance forward infantry first, because as you can see, this unit of Yumi militia are going to be getting absolutely burnt to a crisp by the arrow fire. And also they're having a bit of trouble kind of garrisoning up on these walls, but you know, it's a bit of push and pull right there. Apollo is also going to be advancing forward a unit of his infantry, but I have one of mine, you know, also advancing forward fast. So it's not really an issue. But as you can see, just the amount of missile fire coming in just is really hurting these dudes. As you can see, I'm sprint advancing as well. As he does try to catch my bowman, I'm going to be returning fire on my side and then smashing these guys in the side with a pretty deadly charge. So the fact that Apollo actually decided to come out here kind of worked in my favor, because now these dudes are basically surrounded and clumped up. So I can funnel in a ton of infantry. Yeah, these bowmen are now routing, but, you know, they're basically a worthy sacrifice for these town guard and the Naginata samurai and the Ashigaru. So you can see these dudes are all just sprinting forward as fast as they can. I need to get my men up on there to silence their arrows. You know, the sooner we get up, the better. Also, I love the arrow fire in Shogun 2. It really is so clean. And you can see I'm just advancing forward with everything I've got. It wouldn't be bad to have maybe hid a small portion of my army, like just a couple units over here, so that whilst this is happening, I could have sprung a small trap to try and spread out his forces. You can see I'm also advancing my cavalry now as well. These guys are going to be looking to overwhelm the walls if they can. But we are going to be under fire by the warrior monks, who are, you know, going to be doing lots of damage. And hitting my katanas pretty heavily, but I'm just going to dismount these guys and try and get them involved. These dudes are returning fire, maybe? I'm not too sure what's going on there, but these guys basically dismount and start climbing, because I just want to put the pressure on. See the arrow fire right there. Back and forth between the trenches, as it were. The infantry, you know, this actually kind of worked out really good that he tried to countercharge me here. Really actually quite, like, did help me out. Because now, you know, I can basically soften up this defense, and Apollo doesn't really have the units to waste. I mean, obviously, I would have done exactly the same thing as Apollo did, so there's nothing different right there. I would have done exactly the same, because, you know, if you can kill these missiles, that would have been so good. Missiles in siege battle are so important. And here we go. I managed to finally get these gunners up here as well, even though I think a better position for these gunners would have been right here. But as you can see, I just have the numbers now, and my archers are just overpowering him, and I also have the defenses as well, so I've kind of pushed forward this assault. We've also got the Naginata infantry pushed up as well. And one of the crazy things about this infantry is this infantry has access to pike wall as well. So they basically act as like a Ashigaru unit, but their melee attack is so much more. I also have like 5 generals as well. I think I dismount a few of these generals and bring them in. But I think at this point it is just simply a matter of time until victory is held. Yeah, I have a general here, which I think I'm going to bring up. Have I dismounted? Yeah, I've also dismounted the retainers as well. Now, retainers are, you know, few in number now because they got hammered by the warrior monks. But against, you know, militia, they should be doing okay. The warrior monks might, you know, do a little bit more damage to me. And you've got another unit of warrior monks right here as well. I think they're glitching out a little bit, but you know, you just have to double click that and they should sort themselves out. Apollo is obviously focusing down all of his missiles on this position, but my infantry on the right flank are just, you know, overwhelming his defenses. He doesn't have enough infantry to really defend. And I feel like Apollo did the best with his setup in this battle, you know. And by the looks of it, he didn't really lose much. Now, obviously, it sucks to lose this province after taking it because, you know, as I keep on saying, siege battles are brutal in Shogun 2, so you never want to give up. You never want to give up what you can. If you take a settlement, you want to try and hold it because it's going to be so hard to try and reclaim. And this is a very, very interesting settlement as well, because looking at it, like, you could basically be in the inner layer within the first, like, couple seconds. You have to cross this river, and I imagine most of his missile fire as well would probably reach to the edge of this river as well. So you could literally start climbing this wall, like, immediately, and also climbing this wall as well to come down the bridges on both sides. So, you know, even though it might look more favorable to assault from, like, this side or this side, having a big army, you know, you could really assault this entire line right here and, you know, put lots of pressure on all of these. So, gonna have to definitely remember that in the future, whether I'm attacking or defending. At this point in the battle, though, my men are exhausted, but I am breaking through a lot of these positions. I just have the numbers, which I'm piling in. You can see the balance power is well in my favor at this point. Apollo is also, you know, his men are fighting to the death, which is nice and something I love in Shogun 2, how units do fight to the death, basically, in most sieges. I think there's very few situations where the soldiers don't just fight to the end. And you can see I did just lose a unit of militia, so he is taking out as many men as he can. But I've also got these bowmen now, and these bowmen are having a field day, right? They're directly into their shoulders of the Chosakabe infantry. Just so, like really well positioned right here, and yeah, this map is brutal. It really is, because you can really advance forward here bit by bit. Now, it's obviously slow, and I imagine if Apollo had a full stack here and I was attacking with a full stack, you know, if you were to attack from these positions, like from the sides, I really, really feel like, you know, you'd maybe end up, like, risk running out the clock. My general is up here as well. I have a general unit up here fighting some of the warrior monks, which still left remaining, but it's basically devolving into a very, very small battle now. Not many people left, and this is huge for me, because again, Apollo is bigger than me. I think he has 5 more settlements in this head-to-head, and obviously he has access to all the trade nodes. He's blockading me, so I'm not getting any trade. So, like, you know, Apollo is still very much ahead of me. So if I can slow him down conquering his island, hopefully that'll buy me enough time to take over my island and then repair all the buildings and then build a small navy so I can try and fight out. By the time, you know, hopefully the longer Apollo is stuck fighting this guy, he's not invading me, which is just absolutely huge. As you can see as well, there's like 2 dudes there, so I could just pull through my units with the cavalry as well and just break upon here and finish up the battle. I have a few generals up here as well, which are going to be engaging. These are actually my bow cavalry who have made their way across here. So there we have it. That's going to be the battle. And yeah, it's really successful for me. I've managed to push Apollo back from the settlement he's taken. I've killed one of his armies. And it's going to take a little while for him to bring this back. So I definitely can't complain. And, you know, it's going to buy me time, hopefully. I still definitely think Apollo is far ahead of me in this campaign, obviously after the brutal start we had. But we are bringing it back, and, you know, there is definitely a decent chance that we can, you know, well, especially once we take our island as well, if we can take our island. And we have some really important battles coming up. I think it would have been, this probably goes up on Wednesday, so I guess you guys would have missed it. But definitely go back and watch the stream from yesterday on Tuesday, because at the beginning of that stream, we are going to be fighting some major battles against the AI faction, which will basically determine how the war goes, you know. So it's going to be very, very fun and interesting to see how that one does develop. But there we go. That's another cool custom map. If you guys want to keep on seeing these multiplayer head-to-head battles that we do, whether they're sieges or just cool battles we have in general, be sure to go ahead and drop a like and a comment down below. If I see these videos do well, I'll obviously do more of them. And it's always nice to go back and watch some Shogun, because Shogun is such a beautiful game. In my opinion, it's probably the best Total War game out there. when it comes to not modded. I think Shogun 2 is, for me, the best Total War game. Yeah, for sure. And there we go. That was a close victory, or costly victory, but a victory nonetheless. And hopefully that'll push Apollo back for some time and, you know, cause him some issues in the grand scheme of things. You know, every turn honestly does count. You know, if I can push him back and then winter comes, that's another 3 turns, another 3 turns where we conquer. So it's just some really, really big battles. And yeah, that's why I love head-to-head, because you're always trying to screw over your opponent if you can, regardless of what's happening, you know. So if we take a look at the unit stats, we can take a look at the kills. We can see that my bowman did the best, and then yeah, these Naginata samurai are just so good. Their melee attack stat is huge. Even some of the Yari militia are doing a decent job right there. The bow cavalry, 80 kills, considering there's only 80 of them in the unit. That's pretty decent. And the gunner's doing okay as well. Then if we take a look at Apollo's side, we can see his retainer bowman. Considering there's only 40 of these guys, they got 160 kills. That's pretty decent. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.